A very pleasant good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon rush. We want to say thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon. My name is Randolph Critchlow, and as usual, I say thank you very much to those persons joining us internationally in the region and right here in Guyana. It's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon and a bit cold in Georgetown. It has been 415 days since the March 2nd regional and general elections, and still the country does not have credible results from those elections. It has been now 262 days of this fraudulent administration, and we continue to carry this burden of the PVP in our backs, and we continue to see the ills of this administration wreaking havoc on Guyana. For those persons who are joining us, we want to say thank you very, very much. As usual, we want to encourage you to share the live stream with your friends and family. Encourage you to do that. Share it in your groups, your WhatsApp groups, your Facebook groups. Share it and on your Facebook Messenger, anywhere. Just tell a friend that the credible and valid information is about to be unpacked here with the afternoon rush. We want to say thank you, of course. And as usual, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know where you're joining us from. We're always happy to welcome those persons who are joining us from all over the world. So let us know where you're joining us from. I'll read some of those comments in a second as I share the live stream with more persons so we can get everybody on board with the credible and valid information for the next half an hour or so, because we're going up until 6:30, because Miss Coretta McDonald will be on this afternoon with her show Advancing the Cause, and we'll be looking forward to that. So we want to, of course, encourage you to tune in for that. God, now that we shared on a number of other locations, we can get the ball rolling. We can get the ball rolling here on the afternoon rush. Thank you very much. Let me see where you're joining us from. Hope Town is in the house. Brooklyn is in the house. Texas also in the house. Queens, good evening. Those persons joining us from Holland, thank you very much for joining. Where are you joining us from this afternoon? Barbados in the house, St. Kitts in the house, St. Vincent and Grenadines, of course, in the house. Our thoughts and prayers are still with our friends and family there. Our sister CARICOM territory. Georgia is in the house, French Guyana. That person joining us, a number of persons joining us, New Jersey and French Guyana joining us from on YouTube. Remember, we're live on YouTube also if you want to view the program from there. Linden, Trinidad and Tobago, Toronto, Canada, thank you very much for being a part of what we're doing here. Montserrat is in the house. Ontario, Buxton, New Jersey, St. Martin, Kitty, thank you very much. Right here in Guyana, Berbice is in the house. Thank you very much for tuning in and being a part of the credible and valid information here on The Rush. My name is Randolph Critchlow, as I said, and we are going to be looking at some interesting details coming out of the news over the last few hours or so. COVID, and we are going to dig deep into what is really happening there at GUYOIL. Story behind the story this evening, and we're going to take a disturbing look into what is happening, this trend, as we keep telling you, of the increase in serious crimes, right? We want to, of course, highlight what is happening with that. Of course, in addition to that, the leader of the opposition would have requested a meeting with the president of ExxonMobil Guyana, and that meeting is set for tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit on that also. But as we prep those stories, we want to, of course, continue to shout out the persons who are hitting us up in the comments. Brooklyn, Queens, Albertown, Providence. Thank you very much for tuning in. Right. Simpson also. Don't worry with you, man. We got, of course, we got the PvP supporters coming on. We want to say thank you very much for joining. You add to our viewership. We love that you're here. Rihanna Simpson said you're looking weird. Thank you very much, Rihanna. Continue to look. maybe by the end of the show, I'll look good to you. Haslington, Connecticut, let him in the house. Thank you very much for tuning in. Watching from Puerto Rico. Lovely, lovely. Thank you very much for tuning in. Right, East New York. So, folks, again, share the live stream. We're going to be on for just a short while today. We're not going to have a long show, 6 to 6:30, and then we're going to join Miss Greta McDonald at 6:30 for Advancing the Cause, and just a bit more programming note we're going to be having in during this evening with Sherry Duncan. You may ensure that you join that this evening at 8. East Runveld, Trinidad, Brooklyn. Thank you very much, everyone for joining the show this afternoon. Let us get the ball rolling. Let us get the ball rolling for this afternoon, Wednesday, the 21st of April 2021. All right. Lane Avenue, one more shout out to those persons joining us from Lane Avenue and Liberty Avenue. So Lane Avenue in Guyana, Liberty Avenue, of course, overseas, East Berbice. Thank you. Right, let's get to what's in the news, folks. What is happening in the news? We have to start with the continued spike in COVID cases and COVID related deaths. Today we saw the 274th death, right? The latest fatality of a 52-year-old woman from region number 6. Region number 6. Folks, I don't even, every day I start this show, and I remind persons of the COVID numbers. It is a solemn and a somber way to start the show every day, but we have to bring these numbers to you. We have to let you know what is happening and call on you to do what you need to do to protect yourself from COVID-19. We cannot overstate that fact. We cannot overstate those precautions enough that you need to protect yourselves and your family, your friends and your family, because this is real. We've lost 274 Guyanese souls to this pandemic, and it is not showing any signs of slowing down. Yes, we have the vaccine, and of course the vaccine gives you some sort of protection that the symptoms or this the severity of it will be decreased if you take the vaccine. You're protecting yourself. So at the end of the day, and I know people have this back and forth of whether or not they want to take the vaccine or they trust the vaccines, all manner of things swirling around there, right? I will repeat what a medical practitioner said to me, that it is your choice. You have to decide whether or not this is something that you want. They will offer you the benefits. They will say to you, this is how this thing may benefit you. And at the end of the day, it's a personal choice, right? It is not yet mandatory to take the vaccine, to travel or to work, right? It is still not mandatory. So at the end of the day, you have to decide whether or not you want to take this vaccine after you would have considered. Remember, this is not a rush thing. You have to do your own research, and of course, get information from as many legitimate sources as possible, right? So that you are informed. And once you get to a place where you feel you're informed enough, then you make a choice whether or not you want to take the vaccine or not, right? And of course, this is a personal choice. But I am saying to you that this is serious. This is serious. Guyanese are dying, and we cannot afford to continue down this road. It is extremely important that we adhere to the precautions and we do what we need to do to protect ourselves and family. Right. So as we start on that note, let us continue on our what's in the news segment of this show, because of course we will not be too long this afternoon. But what else is in the news? Earlier today we saw reports. Let me just pull this up for you. What else is right? Police on Tuesday arrested a man after he found a quantity of marijuana and counterfeit $5,000 bills in a raid in Pleasant, East Coast, Demerara. Folks, I mean, I am not, I am a big proponent of legalizing the thing. So I'm not going to make too much noise about the marijuana because I believe that it should be legalized. I believe that the government should take steps to benefit from it and not be spending millions of dollars trying to fight and police it. That's my position. I believe that it's time our country moves to a position of decriminalizing, even if it's a certain amount of recreational or medical, but decriminalizing marijuana in our country because it is a utter waste of resources, uh, folks. But what is telling and what is important about this is that you have to be careful there on the streets because they, of course, they found these counterfeit $5,000 bills as consumers and as persons using these, exchange of currency. Be careful in what you're collecting because you don't want to be collecting counterfeit. Know how to spot the signs of a counterfeit money. Know what to look for on the real money, please. All you need to go to is the Bank of Guyana website or Facebook page, and you'll find information on how to identify. Bank of Guyana, the Ministry of Finance supposed to have it also, although their website is down at the moment. But find out how to spot your real money because you do not want to fall prey to a counterfeit scam. Ensure that you know how to identify legal tender, legal currency, right? So just bringing you up to speed with that. Of course, we said, folks, that the leader of the opposition a few days ago requested a meeting with the president of ExxonMobil Guyana, and that meeting was granted. And tomorrow, I believe at 10 a.m., the leader of the opposition will be meeting with the president of ExxonMobil Guyana. In light of all of the setbacks, all of the cuts that you're seeing to production aboard the Liza Destiny drill there. So we're waiting the outcome of this meeting. Of course, we're going to be continuing to cover this from the leader of the opposition's office tomorrow, so you can know what were the outcomes of that meeting, what was said, because the leader of the opposition in his press conference last week would have mentioned that, many persons are concerned about what is happening with ExxonMobil. They're concerned about the cuts, they're concerned about the lack of performance. And so we're hoping that Exxon can give some answers to what really is happening and when is it that we can be back on track with the level of production, that was predicted and that was in process, the 120,000 barrels a day and not 30,000 barrels a day. Right. So that is also in the news, and tomorrow we'll continue to bring that to you. Folks, let's continue down the news road this afternoon and unpack some more of what has been happening in and around Georgetown and Guyana. So we also saw this report, and this comes from the news source Guyana, of police force to tackle motorcycle bandits and crime fighting plan urges public to be security conscious. I we say it every day. We say that we're seeing this increase in criminal activities, and we have seen an increase of these motorcycle bandits who roll up on you, rob you, and make their way on the motorcycle. This is a trend that is extremely popular, right? In Latin America, you see a lot of this happening in Brazil, whether it's now spreading to Guyana is a question to be asked because we see a lot of occurrences. There are a number of shows on YouTube that highlight this particular type of crime happening throughout Latin America and especially in Brazil. Now we are seeing the motorcycle bandits, um, you know, being very, very popular in Guyana. Guyana, of course, even before, this is why the infamous CG was given such a bad rap, that particular brand of motorcycle, because that would seem to be the preferred motorcycle for those persons who are committing these criminal acts. And we have seen our amount of motorcycle crimes happening. So we are asking the public, the police forces are asking the public to be security conscious. And this comes amidst this idea that is the people is trying to peddle as if crime is on the decrease. We have seen the steady increase in crime ever since, whether it's the increased um, drug buzz that you're seeing. It seems as if persons have been emboldened since August the 2nd. But we continue to watch this, and of course, we're asking the public to, you know, take your safety into your own hands. Folks, we continue down this road of crime. We continue down this road of crime and indecency. Yesterday, we showed you the video. And for those persons who um, are not following or did not see the video, I'm going to show you the video again of that police officer that was chased with a cutlass by a minibus driver, right? I want to bring that video to you. That minibus driver is now in custody. And of course, this is some good news because it is totally unbelievable that this is a state of affairs in our country where the police officers are being run through the street by cutlass wielding people. And this is a officer of the law. Where is the respect for the police officer? Many persons are saying that the police officer was wrong. He was harassing the this. Let's we can take a look.
Yeah, you welcome, good yours. No, he's still there. Oh, shit.
This police officer running for his life. Running for his life.
Oh, shit.
What is the situation? So, following this story, this
No, he's still there. Oh, shit.
that was the situation. Police officer running for his life. So we see this story surfacing today. Of course, some are good friends over at News Source that the police officer, the minibus driver is now in custody. If I can give you some information on that particular story. In a statement this evening, the police force stated that the police constable, one second, right, that the that the police constable was on the motorcycle patrol along Homestretch Avenue and he noticed a minibus bearing license plate number BZZ3029 overtaking a lane of more than 50 vehicles. This is what the police report said. This is the same driver that was stopped, right? Bus driver from Sophia is now in custody after he chased the police officer with a cutlass during a traffic stop in the city yesterday. So The statement goes on, according to the police, the driver was stopped and told of the offense of dangerous driving and asked to produce his driver's license. The minibus driver drove off. Um, the traffic rank caught up with him on Sheriff Street and managed to stop the driver. Right, as seen in the recording of the incident, the driver got out of the vehicle, went to the passenger side, and returned with a cutlass and started to chase the policeman. Folks, now, you know what is an interesting thing? If this police officer was in possession of a firearm and he had, in defense, in self-defense, because he would have had all right to believe that he would have been chopped by that man. If this police officer would have defended himself with a firearm and shot this man, you would have heard a different story. Well, hopefully you wouldn't have, because there would have been video evidence of him being chased with a cutlass in fear of his life. These are the things that you wonder sometimes what it is that could, you know, be going on someone's head that they feel that they can or they should chase a police officer through the street with a cutlass. What could give you that hubris? What could embolden you so much that you believe that this is something that you can do, right? In public, with so many onlookers, people videoing. Folks, people say that Guyana is not a real place. But I can tell you that we're in real trouble. We are in real trouble. As we talk about crime, as we talk about the situation of our country, especially under this fraudulent administration, let me continue down our news roadway. And folks, sad story. Again, like all the other incidents of crime, we see this story coming out from a Village Voice, right? Where it says it's actually the Sauce family is still seeking justice. Still seeking justice. 15 years after. 15 years after the Oraco's slaughter, right? The family is making pleas to the PPP government to launch an inquiry, right? Launch an inquiry into this. Sad to say, this, along with so many other heinous crimes, would have been committed under the PPP's tenure in office. Their 23 years of horror on this country. Still, the family of one of their own ministers, former ministers, calling for justice. This, folks, we don't need to regurgitate and repeat the legacy of the PPP. Whether it be Ronald Waddle, whether it be Sacha Diosa, all of these unbelievable and unspeakable things happened under the PPP government. They are backing up in office now fraudulently, albeit, and the family of one of their own former ministers still asking for justice. Right? Just like the family of Joel and Isaiah, just like the family of Harry Singh, still asking for justice. But we know that the PPP are not interested in justice. Folks, unfortunately, we have to move on. And still on the issue of crime and what has been happening in the news, we move to this story that we shared with you yesterday. And folks, this is our story behind this story as we talk about, we dig a little deep into what is happening. Right? This is our story behind this story today. Right. In our story behind this story today, we see the audit office coming out and saying that they are going to be probing the $600 million kickback scandal at GUYOIL. Folks, yesterday we shared with you this particular story, right? The Ghana Oil Corporation has been instructed to call in the Auditor General, Deodat Sharma, to investigate allegations that there's been allegations that it was being supplied, with fuel by Aaron Realty Inc. ARI. Now, the Auditor General has been called in. This, of course, instructed by the Minister of Finance, according to another report. Right? According to another report, the Minister of Finance instructed, right, with the Finance Ministry calling in the Auditor General to probe the allegations into fuel purchase scam at the state-owned Guyana Oil Company, right? This is what happened over the last few hours as we continue to watch this particular story. We said later that Mr. Trevor Basu, who was the general manager of the Guyana Oil Company, resigned amidst these allegations, and the company asking him to go on administrative leave. He would have resigned from his post, saying that persons are trying to tarnish his name. Right. Again, there are more questions and answers here because today, saw we saw the where is it? Right. Today we saw this. We saw the importer, the other party in this deal, saying that they give GUYOIL 48 hours to come clean on fuel import agreement. Right? Before we go on to this here, we also mentioned to you yesterday one of the persons in the middle of this particular scandal, Mr. Trevor Basu, who was also in the middle of another scandal when he was at the Guyana National Printers, having to do with sourcing of printing of textbooks, right? And he again is in the middle of another scandal, right? Right, in the middle of another scandal. So today, after Mr. Trevor Basu would have said, listen, there's nothing of the sort, and GUYOIL would have said that, they're investigating this, the Auditor General was called in, then the story got even more interesting. The story got even more interesting. In a letter to GUYOIL from the law offices of Dexter Todd, which is representing the fuel importer, this is Aaron Royalty. Aaron Royalty Enterprise. The company has threatened legal action over the agreement since it has already imported the fuel that was reportedly requested. Folks, we are asking ourselves what is happening at GUYOIL. The company has named the director of the board of GUYOIL and senior finance officer as of the company as one of the two persons who reached a verbal agreement with the company concerning a soft corporate offer for heavy fuel to be shipped to Guyana on or before the 17th of April 2021. Right. The company has also revealed, this is Aaron Royalty Enterprise, revealed that it was in exchange, that it had exchanged emails between marketing director and former GUYOIL general manager Trevor Basu concerning the uplifting of fuel which has already arrived in Guyana. Basu has since resigned as general manager of GUYOIL and denied all wrongdoings and claims that they are persons trying to stain his character. So that is where we are at with GUYOIL. Folks, we have to ask ourselves what is happening here. You know why? This seems like something went wrong here. There are so many questions, so many questions. And why we have so many questions? Because, as usual, you have to do some digging. Who is this company that is threatening to reveal this agreement that they had with not only these persons in GUYOIL, but GUYOIL themselves? And why is this being framed as a big cutback scam? You have to start thinking, who are these people? Well, so we did some digging, and we found out that, of course, Aaron Enterprises, Royalty Enterprises, is owned and operated by Mr. Jason Aaron, who is stated on LinkedIn, right, as the president of Aaron Royalty Inc. So, who is this man? And just a little more digging, of course, Mr. Jason Aaron is the president of this. Just a little more digging, we found out that Mr. Jason Aaron has been involved in a number of fraudulent cases. Diamond fraud accused faced with additional charges. This is just one. This is just one of what came up on the Google search. So a lot of things are being revealed now, right? So this is someone who is not foreign to fraud, involved in another fraudulent setup here, because it seems as though something went awry, right? Something went awry. So, question is now, folks, as we unpack this, let's unpack this. We have our friends at GUYOIL who are saying, look, we know what you're talking about. One man resigned and said, look, people trying to stain his name. We have the audit office being called in to dig into what is happening with these monies. Right? What else do we have? We have Aaron Royalty Enterprise, who is the company supposed to be bringing this oil and be selling it to GUYOIL, saying, look, we had an agreement, and also expose this sort of kickback thing that was supposed to, people were supposed, excuse me, people were supposed to get money apparently. And they have now decided that they will go public with a lawyer's letter saying, look, we give GUYOIL 48 hours to come clean on the deal. But there's more. This company is run by someone who has been involved in several fraud cases. One of which we are showing you right now on the screen. Why is GUYOIL doing business with this particular person? Something doesn't smell right. Didn't GUYOIL do their due diligence to know that this particular individual has been involved in fraudulent activities already? It seems to me, and persons have said, that allegedly there is a bigger conspiracy happening here, and that something went wrong along the way. Something went wrong along the way, right? And somebody didn't get their right amount of the cut. So this is how everything blew up. This is what persons are alleging. That everything blew up because something went south with the deal. Because you can't tell me that GUYOIL wouldn't have known that Mr. Jason Aaron or Aaron was well known to the fraud circles and has been documented in the news of being charged with fraudulent activities. Right? So yeah, these are the people in the middle of the story. And it is our hope that the Auditor General can do his due diligence. And this brings me to my final point, folks, as we watch at what is happening. We see these activities, we see these people. And then we look. You know what we're seeing when we look around? That the DPP and the Attorney General and the PPP, so to speak, are more interested in witch hunting persons who are associated with the APNU AFC instead of running behind the real criminals. So we are waiting with bated breath to see how they will treat this situation. As I said yesterday, now that continues to develop, it is still a developing story. You wonder whether or not GUYOIL will come clean within 48 hours, as they were threatened to. They were threatened with a letter to come clean, or else we will reveal the circumstances behind the deal. So let us wait and see as the plot thickens, as the people say in theater. The plot thickens. But as this is happening, right, folks? As this is happening, you know what we're seeing? We're seeing persons continuing, or the continued dragging of persons before the courts. That is what we're seeing. The continued dragging of persons before the courts. Like Mr. Trevor Ben. And this is where I will end this afternoon. This is where I will end this afternoon. Putting what we just saw in perspective. The alleged criminal activities happening at GUYOIL. What we see here, additional misconduct in public office, charges being filed against Trevor Ben. A man with no evidence that he did anything wrong. All of the monies that they are alleging, or all of the things that they are alleging, the monies are in the coffers of the government. But he's being dragged through the court. And that's where we'll end this afternoon. Let us continue to be vigilant. Let us continue to keep our eyes on what is happening, folks. Like I always say, let's continue to work together for national development. Tomorrow we'll be covering that meeting with the leader of the opposition and the president of ExxonMobil Guyana, and we'll also continue to bring you updates on what is happening with the leader of the opposition and the APNU AFC. Do continue to keep yourself and your family safe. Please join Coretta McDonald right now. The show has already started. We'll switch over to that on the same main page, and all the other MPs' pages. You can find the Advancing the Cause show. And then, of course, at 8 p.m. this evening, we'll be joining Sher Duncan in the ring. Folks, it was a pleasure being here with you. Do enjoy the rest of your evening. Do stay safe.